Welcome to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber and Company, a community affairs program from West Virginia Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stuart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, Southern Communications, or its sponsors. And now, with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome to Our Communiversity Today. Again, I'm Dr. Ramon Stuart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley. And I'm thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore Our Communiversity. As always, I remind you, Communiversity, I believe that the community is the university and the university is the community. And what better way to connect us all than a great company like Little General, who has convenience stores throughout West Virginia. And when you think about Little General and you think about what they do, not only to give you the gas and the snacks that you need, more importantly, they give back to the people that give to them. And so today in studio, we have with us Charlie Houck, who's the Director of Public Relations for Little General, who's celebrating 50 years of not only providing convenience to you, but 50 years of building up this community too. And so today we're going to explore this topic of giving back through Little General. And as always on Our Communiversity Today, we try to ask and answer two questions. That's simply why not us and why not now? So right after this break, we'll be back with more Our Communiversity Today on News Talk WWNR.
Bank with Purpose and Golden Bear Pride at Pendleton Community Bank. Our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
I'm feeling so very cheated. My website don't work for me. I'm feeling so truly cheated. It's wrecked my economy.
Don't let your website drive you crazy. At Cucumber and Company, we'll tune it up and keep it running smooth. No upfront fees, unlimited updates, and real results. Don't just shake it up, upgrade it. Visit cucumberandcompany.com today.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity Today. Again in studio visiting with us is Charlie Houck, who serves as the Director of Public Relations with Little General. Charlie, how are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you, Dr. Stewart?
I am well. You know, you mentioned Stewart. One thing that I really like about you is your real name, Charles Stewart Houck.
And the key to Stewart is we both spell our names S-T-U-A-R-T, not S-T-E-W-A-R-T.
The only way to spell it. So, Charlie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, born in Bluefield, only lived there 3 years, grew up in Charleston. After college, went to work as a banker. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career. And my dad said, your grandfather was president of a bank for 40 years. Why don't you become a banker? And my grandfather was a little old bank in Spencer, West Virginia. So I went in and interviewed at 2 banks. Somehow I got an appointment. 2 largest banks in the state, Charleston National, Kanawha Valley. I walked in. I met with the director of personnel for Charleston National Bank. I get an aptitude test. He interviews me, and then I sit for a while. He comes out of his office, said, I want to introduce you to the chairman of the board. He takes me down, and he said, he said, I would like to introduce you to Charles Houck, a new employee in the management training program. I didn't even know I'd been hired. We hadn't even talked salary. I get home and I tell my parents, and my GPA in college was 2.38. I developed socially. I was very shy. I went away to a prep school, military school, and high school. Never had a date until 2 years into college. And so I developed socially in college, but did achieve a 2.38, which I'm still proud of. And so then I got my first job, and the end of this story is two things that are very important in my life is goal setting. And I had a goal because of what happened to be president of a bank. So the first day as a banker, I wanted to be president of a bank. Later, that's why I came to Beckley, because Charleston National owned a bank here. I became executive vice president with the path to become president of that bank. So that's actually what brought me to Beckley in 1986. I retired 11 years ago, went to work for Little General.
Well, you know, and I as I listen to your journey, and you know, one of the things I say all the time is not how you start the game, it's how you finish it. And we just finished the Super Bowl not too long ago. And if you don't believe that, remember when the New England Patriots was losing to the Falcons until they won, you know. But what happens is you talk about goal setting, and you talk about, you know, obviously having seen your grandfather and he was the president of a bank, but you didn't go to college thinking you wanted to do that or could. What was it about when you first started at the bank that made you want to be or set the goal of being a president?
Well, one was the conversation my dad had with me. Why don't you become a banker? There's no banker in our family, to follow in your grandfather's footsteps. And then the first day I got there, I just think what a privilege it is to want to be president of a bank your first day at work. And everything I ever did, if the president put a committee together and there were 4 people on it, and I was the youngest person in that committee, I said, I'm on my way. I'm the youngest person in here to be included in this. So, and then the second thing with me was the power of references. And I don't want anyone, and I give a little talk on goal setting, the power of references to anybody probably 30 years from 16 to 30. The power of references. When you fill out a resume, I put Cecil Walker down, and he owned Walker Machinery Company when I gave it to Charleston National. I got the job on the spot. Later, we had a rehearsal dinner. Terry and I were engaged, and my parents had a rehearsal dinner. Cecil Walker and his wife were there, and they said, does anybody have a toast to the bride and groom? He said, I want to toast Charlie. He said, the bank called me. I said, he's a good boy, hire him. So during that 20-minute delay with the head of personnel for Charleston National Bank, he called one of my references. Cecil Walker said, hire me. When I got there, he was one of the top 3 customers in the biggest bank in the state. That was luck. But the reason I tell that story, never estimate the references that you put down and what it can mean to you.
Yeah, you know, and you talked about your collegiate experience. We kind of have that in common. You know, some people graduate magna summa cum laude. I think you and I both graduated oma laude with your 2.38. And I think mine was a little bit better, but I don't think it made it to the 3s. But you know, I think it's so powerful what you said. It's not only what you know, it's also who you know. And so going out and developing into that budding person, coming into your own as a sophomore in college. And I think that's a perfect transition. You go from being a banker. How long were you a banker?
I became a banker in 1969, the year I graduated, and then I retired in 2014.
Okay.
So
45 years
exactly
as a
right.
banker.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sit here today and you are the director of public relations for Little General. How does one go from being a banker for 45 years, aspirations to be a bank president, to being the director of public relations for Little General?
Well, number one, being a banker, you are in sales. I don't care if you're a realtor. I don't care what. You are in sales, and you do customer development. And we all have the same products as banks. We have loans, we've got deposits, what have you. And it's really how you treat your customer and what you do. So I loved going out and trying to develop business. I just loved it. I loved officer calls, and I would call on anyone. When I was there was a time I was president of a bank here, and our board of directors, I said, I'm going to call on every board of director of our two major competitors here. There were 3 banks that ran this community. I called on every board member of the other 2 banks, and they said, why are you doing this? And I said, because as a board member, sometimes they may not get everything they want. I want to be number 2. And that's what I told them. That's actually how I got hired for a job, because one of the board members, when I changed jobs, he was the impetus behind me getting a job at another bank here, not on purpose with me, but that call on him impressed him so much that I would do that, even though he was on the board of another bank. So sometimes I just love sales and being aggressive in the right way. It was a sales job. My banking job was a sales job, and it was PR to some degree too. And I've always loved serving the community. You and I serve on the chamber board. You've done that for a long time. You do a lot for our community, you and this institution, and I love to do the same thing.
Yeah, and you know, I think service is, I say all the time, Shirley Chisholm reminds us, service is what we pay for the space that we occupy on this earth. And so I certainly appreciate your service, whether it's through the chamber, through Raleigh County Make It Shine, through Rotary. If there is an opportunity to serve, Charlie Houck is there. And I think with that service in mind, tell us a little bit about your service as the Director of Public Relations at Little General.
Okay. 11 years ago, I gave the bank 6 months' notice I'm retiring. My career is going to be over. And with 2 months ago, Greg Darby called. And Greg was a friend, a good friend, but not a close friend. And he said, hey, you work for us when you retire. And I said, that's fine, because I had great respect for the company. And Little General was a great customer of our bank. So I said, fine. So Greg created a title, Director of Public Relations, 11 years ago. I have the best job in West Virginia, and I mean that. I work for an outstanding company that does so much for others. And I could mention this, I could mention that, I could mention this. But what Little General gives back to our community, and what I love about Little General is headquartered in Beckley, West Virginia. One of our major competitors, Sheets, is headquartered in Pennsylvania. X of that money goes to Pennsylvania. We're headquartered right here. GoMart is a West Virginia-based company, but they're headquartered in Gasaway, West Virginia, and they're not headquartered here. So what I try to do, and you and I in the chamber board meeting, I mentioned if things are equal, I would love for you all to work and give Little General your business. And I think Little General deserves the business of this community because what we give back, and I think we are competitive with our competition.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful. Little General, Southern West Virginia's convenience store, gas stations with a variety of not only stations, but also eateries that's contained in. Again, ladies and gentlemen, in studio with us today, Charlie Houck, who serves as the Director of Public Relations for Little General Convenience Stores. We're going to take a short break, so stay tuned to News Talk WWNR for more Our Communiversity Today.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
I'm feeling so very cheated. My website don't work for me. I'm feeling so truly cheated. It's wrecked my economy.
Don't let your website drive you crazy. At Cucumber & Company, we'll tune it up and keep it running smooth. No upfront fees, unlimited updates, and real results. Don't just shake it up, upgrade it. Visit cucumberandcompany.com today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Ben Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity today. Again in studio, Charlie Houck, who serves as the Director of Public Relations for Little General. And Charlie, before break, you were talking in the previous segment about Little General and how you came 11 years ago. Greg Darby looked at you and said, hey, I want you to come work for us, and gave you the title Director of Public Relations. And I think it's so profound when you look at Little General and you remind us that this is Southern West Virginia's own. There are other gas stations, some that are headquartered in other states, some further away from Southern West Virginia, but Little General is right here. How does that make you feel?
Well, I am very proud of what Little General's done and their growth from 25 convenience stores to 125. And now we have 80 franchise restaurants as well. So we've got two segments of our business. And my pride is not only Little General's success, it's really how they've achieved their success. And then probably mostly how Little General gives back to the community.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that success. You talk about going from 25 to 125 stores, 80 franchisees in terms of restaurants, different eateries. That's all been done in a 50-year period. You celebrate 50 years this year in operation of Little General. So tell us about that progress and that expansion.
Okay, and a little bit on the 50 years. Greg Darby and Corey Beasley, when they purchased the company, it was a little more than 25 years ago. So if we just talk about under Greg Darby and Corey, it's really the past 25 years, but it's grown from
fivefold.
Oh yeah, fivefold, and there were no restaurants virtually then either. To all these franchise restaurants, and Buffalo Wild Wings to go in MacArthur, and Dunkin' Donut in MacArthur are two of our newer stores, and our Teriyaki Madness actually. And Teriyaki Madness is one of our new franchisees that we have now, and we've opened some of those as well. But the growth in Little General has just been phenomenal, and part of it is Little General does it the right way.
Yeah. And, I think when you look at from 25 to 125, 80 franchisees, one of the things we just recently had an economic impact report that came that noted the economic impact at WVU Tech is $94.4 million, $6.1 million in terms of taxes that we give back. And we directly employ 309 people, indirectly employ a total of 849. So you see that type of economic impact. What's some of the economic impact of Little General?
Well, Little General has over 2,000 employees in the state of West Virginia, one of the largest employers in the state. So that creates a lot of economic activity through the jobs that Little General creates. And just when our customers come in, exit 44 as an example, all these people from out of state, I want everyone from out of state that sets foot in West Virginia to go home and speak highly of West Virginia. And in every way, I'm so proud of this state. I'm so proud to be a resident. And I think Little General helps provide that to a lot of people that just come through, and we're basically all they see in the state.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about transforming Exit 44 because it's the gateway to the New River Gorge National Park, the nation's 63rd National Park. But you're right, when you get off, whether you go to get gas on the left or get gas on the right, if you look closely, all of them are Little General stores. And one of the things I must commend you on is they're always clean. They're always clean. So I guess cleanliness is part of the culture of Little General.
It is, and the stores are newly renovated or new builds or whatever. And you're exactly right. And not to get off subject a little bit, but I definitely want to talk about West Virginia Tech as well, and have a little bit of time to talk about you and your institution and what you all mean to this community.
Well, and I do appreciate that, but let's talk about community and what people mean. You talk about Little General, you talk about employing more than 2,000 people. You know, you reach from Welch to Weirton, you know, so you cover these country roads throughout this state and beyond. And just that thought of 125 stores, 80 franchisees, you all really bring economic stability to this state. But then you also have a generous heart. Tell me about Little General and how they give back to the community.
Without being specific on a lot of recipient of Little General funds, without question, one of our favorite things, one of Greg's favorite things, is taking care of the kids. And Children's Home Society has 8 locations in the state of West Virginia, and they have a new build out past the Glade Gate, where you go by Glade Gate, and then on the left you'll see a new building. And Greg was very involved in helping fund that. And we love Children's Home Society, and they take care of so many children that would not have a home without them. So we love kids. We have scholarships in ex-high schools around the state that we don't talk about. There's a Little General scholarship. So there are things we do for the kids. It's kind of a fine line. In a way, maybe you want the community to know what you're doing, but the other way, you don't want to beat your chest and say, look at us. Mm-hmm. So I think Little General is low-key in what they do, but as I said before, I think they do it the right way, particularly with the community.
Yeah, you know, I was taught along my pathway, you always want to be heard and felt, but not necessarily seen. And I think through the work of Little General, if you know what you're looking at, you know of the impact that Little General has. But I do appreciate and applaud that it's not always about look at me, the pictures, and, you know, taking pictures of sometimes people's most challenging days to use it for likes on a Facebook page. So I applaud that. And I also, you know, you were talking about WVU Tech. One of the first things that I learned when I came here back in 2023, I learned people that I needed to know, people that I need to meet. And you and the Little General crew was top of the list, because not only do you do for the community, you also do in terms of the young people, you also do quite a bit for the individuals that are enrolled at WVU Tech and other institutions of higher education throughout Southern West Virginia and throughout this state. So I commend you for that. And so, you know, when you look at that in your role as Director of Public Relations, how do you really spread the word about Little General and get other people engaged and enthused about what you do?
Well, when you look at where is Little General located and what's our footprint, and we have one store outside of the state of West Virginia, but we're virtually West Virginia all the way, and we're not really in Wheeling and Weirton and Martinsburg and that part of the state. So in our footprint, how we get the word out, probably we do have social media. We have advertising through social media. We have some other advertising, TV as an example, and different forms of advertising. But I think a lot is word of mouth and how you deliver your product and how you gain loyalty from your customer base, particularly in a new market. So I think we compete well against any competition there might be, even though we may be the new kid on the block in a new market in our footprint.
So when you know, I never would think you're the new kid on the block. I think you are setting the standards. And so what's next for Little General?
I would say continued growth. And one thing that's come up just in the last couple years is the electronic chargers. When you have an electric vehicle and you want to stop in different places, and one I'll use is our Exit 44 store here in Beckley. You'll see the chargers there where people plug in their car. Well, when they plug in their car, a lot of times they come in and we sell them product. And there we happen to have a Burger King plus our food through Little General. But that's going to be part of the growth, I think. If in fact electric vehicles do continue to grow in usage, what do I know? But that's another segment. Now, we lose the margin on gasoline sales because we make X cents a gallon, obviously, every time we sell gasoline. And so it's kind of a catch-22 with the electronic charger a little bit. You're losing gasoline sales. But if they're going to stop somewhere and charge their car, why not at Little General?
Why not us? And
why not us?
Now?
Exactly right. One of the great sayings.
Yeah.
And that's just one thing that's going to fuel growth. Another one is we're not going to stop growing the number of stores we have. We're not going to stop growing the number of restaurants we have. And it's kind of exciting. I always say, and I was a banker and had a lot of commercial business customers. And I would tell the customers, if you're staying the same, you're moving backwards.
Absolutely.
Because your competition is not resting on their laurels. Do not stay the same.
And
Little General does not stay the same.
And I appreciate that forward thought of Little General. Ladies and gentlemen, again in studio with us, Charlie Houck, Director of Public Relations at Little General. We're going to take a short break and stick with News Talk WWNR as we close out this edition of Our Communiversity today.
Discover WVU Tech right in your backyard. With 6 ABET accredited engineering programs ranked among the top 100 for engineering and nursing nationwide, WVU Tech offers the best return on investment in West Virginia. Our small, supportive campus is home to high-demand programs in fields like hospitality and culinary, chemical forensics, and the only 4-year construction management degree in West Virginia. Learn more about all the exciting things happening at Tech at wvutech.edu today.
I'm feeling so very cheated. My website don't work for me. I'm feeling so truly cheated. It's wrecked my economy.
Don't let your website drive you crazy. At Cucumber & Company, we'll tune it up and keep it running smooth. No upfront fees, unlimited updates, and real results. Don't just shake it up, upgrade it. Visit cucumberandcompany.com today.
Bank with purpose and Golden Bear pride. At Pendleton Community Bank, our WVU Tech Affinity debit card does more than make purchases. It makes a difference. Every swipe supports the William Bill Benn Student Success Fund, helping WVU Tech students facing financial hardships stay on track to achieve their dreams. Show your school spirit and help shape the future, one transaction at a time. Visit yourbank.bank to get started today. Pendleton Community Bank, here for students, here for community, here for you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Our Communiversity today. Again, I want to thank our guest, Charlie Houck, who's the Director of Public Relations for Little General, for sharing not only his time, his talent, but most importantly, being a treasure. Not only is Charlie a treasure to Southern West Virginia, but the visionaries of Little General, who for the past 50 years have committed to not only providing high quality convenience stores to our area, more than 100 of them, 80 franchisees, but also for them being willing to give back. And at the end of the day, our ability to help other people will help us grow. So please visit wwnrradio.com for additional information about Little General and how you can help build our community today for a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, sponsored by Pendleton Community Bank and Cucumber & Company, a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner, Southern Communications in Beckley. For more on this program and contact information, visit our website at wwnrradio.com.